Hello, my name is Matthew Cook, and I will be doing a speech on Medicare for All today as proposed by Senator Bernie Sanders. Medicare for All benefits the entire country as a whole, keeping everyone healthier and can stop the obnoxious expenses that we see in hospitals today. An estimated 66.5% of all bankruptcies, or 530,000 families last year, cited medical expenses as a key contributor to their bankruptcy, as stated by CNBC.com. Medicare for All would lower the personal expense of almost everyone while expanding levels of care to be unlimited. In this speech, I'll be covering how the current healthcare system is failing us, what Medicare for All would be offering to improve on these shortcomings, and how it worked to implement properly, and how the cost would be taken care of. I have conducted my research as unbiased as I can, trying to see clearly between left and right and negative and positives of it, assessing all of it as a whole. So to start off, we need to cover the broken aspects of our healthcare system today. The U.S. generated 40% of the entire world's medical expense while housing 4% of the world's population, according to Medium.com. It is a known fact that America has the most expensive healthcare in the world, with crazy fees over things as small as a Band-Aid added onto every medical bill. Some would say that we offer better care, but that is getting hard to back up, as direct comparisons from basic operations to life-saving drugs are coming back as being exponentially more expensive in the U.S. than in other developed countries. The average monthly cost of insulin in the U.S. was $360, while $19 in Italy, according to BBC. The average cost of a hip replacement in the U.S. was $29,067, while it would have been cheaper to book a flight to Spain, got the surgery for $6,757, spent 6 months recovering there, and then returned home. The expense issue falls heavily onto the requirement for insurance, but there are loads of complications that come along with that as well. Almost every insurance policy has things they won't cover when it comes to your health, meaning that every penny of a hospital bill will fall onto you. In addition to that, for every insurance claim, there are people working for your provider to make them spend as little as possible on you. Now that makes sense from purely a business standpoint, but when it comes to the health and well-being of our people, we shouldn't have to fear every step of a life-saving process. For example, a woman posted an Ask Me Anything on Reddit about her bear attack that she survived, and when asked about the most difficult part of recovery, she said, and I quote, "Blue Cross, hands down," that being her insurance provider. In addition to that, not every American can afford the insurance they might need, meaning that in the event of something unexpected, they are plunged into debt immediately. Now that I've specified the primary problems facing our healthcare system today, let's look at how Medicare for All eliminates those. Medicare for All aims to eliminate every problem stated above quite simply and effectively. Starting with private healthcare is removed from the system. All healthcare funding and managing will be centralized to the government to handle the expenses required to treat every patient that it needs. Everything from pediatrics to ER visits will be taken care of federally. Americans would pay nothing per visit. There's no co-pays, no premiums, no hidden charges. Every single aspect of medical care will be funded and provided by the government. This will also get rid of the need for healthcare insurance. This eliminates the monthly payments to a company that will eventually fight to dump you out with as little as they can give you. The system would now truly be serving the individual rather than preying on them. This also eliminates the qualifications and verifications required by federal aid right now. Less paperwork, less stress, straight to service and rehabilitation. At this point, it's probably rather reasonable to wonder, who could possibly pay for this? Nothing is free. So let's look at the plan for funding this operation. The money will come from a mixture of cutting extraneous expenses and adjusting tax rates. But don't worry, the tax changes come from primarily the upper class. The process for generating this money is complex but relies mostly on modification of taxation and replacing our current expenses with taxes designed to relieve the stress off the poor and place it on those that can afford it. It is a comprehensive and detailed plan that is put in frame to cost over the next 10 years. The current federal spending on healthcare is estimated to be $30 trillion over the next 10 years. To execute Bernie's plan, we would need an estimated $47.5 trillion for those next 10 years. So that's just a difference of $17.5 trillion. Easy to say just a difference when talking about trillions, but it does get covered in the next. A huge chunk comes from a 4% tax income on over $29,000 for families making more than $29,000 a year. replaces every family's health expenditures. And if you're making less than $29,000 a year, then you don't have to pay for the medical at all. According to averages and the percentage rate, every family making less than $180,000 a year will be saving money according to this plan. This will generate an estimated $4 trillion over the next 10 years. A 7.5% tax on businesses exempting their first $1 million earned will replace employers' health expenditures. This adds $5.2 trillion over the next 10 years. That is also on average saving companies money, because their health expenditures now just go into that tax instead. Eliminating health tax expenditures adds about $3 trillion, and the rest mostly falls into adjustments in corporate taxation, such as taxing capital gains as income. So, let's condense the massive information into a tangible takeaway. Medical expense in this country have run rampant and preyed upon the people it was designed to help. Hundreds of thousands are suffering as a direct result of the flaws of this system. Medicare for All will eliminate crazy, unexpected expenses and finally aid the people it was made for. The primary way Medicare for All will do this is by redistributing the weight of the cost by a percentage base reflective on income to maintain proper funding while ensuring those who need it can access it. To do your part in ensuring this future, go vote for Bernie Sanders. Even if he's dropped out of the primary, you can still write him in upcoming elections, as well as contribute to his movement by donating to his website on berniesanders.com today. Thank you.